We just saw Transformers Age of Extinction, and the way that this show works is we review the movie in 2 parts. The first part is just a quick, do we recommend it or not, did we like it or not, so you can make a decision about whether you want to go see it. And then the second half, we get into details and spoilers, so if you want to go see the movie, you just stop it before we get into that part so we don't ruin it for you, and you can go in and see it fresh. So, I've seen all 4 of the Transformers movies now, and this movie has a lot in common with the other movies as far as the plot goes, as far as the pacing goes. It's still Michael Bay, but I actually think it's probably the best of the 4. It wasn't nearly as insulting as 2 and 3 were, and I think that my biggest problem with the Transformers, the Bay Transformers movies, has been the design of the robots themselves. I think they're really hard to make out. They just kind of look like a bunch of junk flying around. And it still had a bit of that in this, but it's not quite as bad. And Mark Wahlberg is just a lot more fun to watch than Shia LaBeouf and his stupid parents. Like, I'm glad they're not back in this movie. So I would say, like, if you're a fan of other Transformers movies, you'd certainly enjoy this. And I think it's better than Transformers 2 and 3. Probably it holds up better than the original Transformers movie did. But that's sort of my spoiler-free version before I get into what was, more of what was right and what was wrong with this. So, what do you guys think?
Well, these guys probably have a lot more knowledge of Transformers and all the ins and outs and everything like that. I saw all of the movies.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this one really wasn't my favorite. I was like, it could have been 45 minutes shorter. Some of the things took me out of the story, but I think that just even walking to the car, listening to you guys, like, those were things that I guess the people that are really into the knowledge of Transformers know about, and those things kind of took me out of the story a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would recommend it. I mean, if you enjoyed any of the Transformer movies, you'll enjoy this one.
Which one did you think was better?
I think I like the first and second one. I really didn't. I mean, everybody seems to really like the third one. I really didn't like it that much.
Yeah.
So to me, the first and second one, and I honestly, I just really like watching those things transform. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
It's like one of my, like one of the most favorite things in the whole entire movie for me. So a lot of times that's just why I go see it.
Right on.
I'll be honest.
Cool. What'd you think?
I'd probably agree more with Dale. I didn't see the third one, so I can't make any comparisons there, but I have a general idea of what happened.
Yeah, I'll get into that.
Yeah, so I think if you like Transformers movies, then you kind of know what to expect. Like Dale said, there's a lot of similar beats and themes, and they hit a lot of the same things. Again, I definitely prefer Mark Wahlberg to Shia LaBeouf as a human protagonist. And I would say of the 3 I've seen, this is the one I've probably enjoyed the most, even if it was like 45 minutes longer than it probably should have been.
Yeah. What about you, Cal?
Yeah, it's definitely fun, and it's like a big dumb popcorn movie for summer. It's definitely succeeds on that. It's the first one I've seen all the way through, because the other ones I just couldn't.
You just got bored.
It just got dumber and dumber. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's definitely got its moments. It's cool. Some of the sound is cool. Some of the action moments are good. Some of the action moments are just the usual cliche stuff. I don't appreciate all the product placement, the cliched fireworks stuff, the usual slow-mo stuff, and then the same hero shot over and 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 over again. But apart from those are niggles, if you're just wanting a fun time, it's definitely a fun movie.
So that's the basics. If you want to go see it and you don't want to hear us rant and rave about spoilers and things like that, turn us off now and come back after you've seen the movie. Otherwise, watch at your own risk. So, getting into like where this falls, or like how to rank this with the other movies. The first Transformers movie really was like the whole origin story, and they told like where the Transformers came from. They introduced Shia LaBeouf's character, they introduced Megan Fox's character, they introduced the parents, and whether you like that movie or not, I mean, if you don't like that movie, there's no way you're gonna like the second or the third movie. What the second movie did was it took a very similar plot, but it made it this thing where no one would listen to Shia LaBeouf's character. Like, he was the one that knew like how to talk to the Transformers and what to do, and they wouldn't listen to him. And then the other one, they turned that completely around and made it the opposite, where everyone wanted him to come in and save the day, and he wouldn't do it. And both of those are kind of parallels to how people received the previous movie. It's almost like they reacted to that, so they were like, oh, well, you didn't like, him being the chosen one in the second one? Well, we'll just make him reluctant in the third one. and that was equally like...
Just reacting to the feedback of the last
exactly.
one. Exactly.
I mean, then that was, just as insulting to the audience. The first one has the Bumblebee pees on a guy scene, which is probably the most insulting thing that happens in that one.
The second one has the robot with balls.
The second one, yep. And doesn't it have, like, the...
Well, it has the really racist character.
It has the racist spots in it.
Yeah.
And this one, like, really... The comedy is toned way down. You don't have the Witwicky parents, which were the worst part from the comedy standpoint. You don't really have, like, racist characters. I saw some stuff like that Transformers pre-make video, which if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend checking it out. But they get into like how the movie was designed to be more appealing to a Chinese audience, because China is quickly becoming the #1 box office in the world. So the addition of that like samurai type Transformer, the design of Grimlock is more like a Chinese dragon than a T-Rex. And then having parts of the movie take place in Beijing and Hong Kong, and casting Bing Bing Lee.
I was going to say, I don't know who she is, awesome. But I'm sure she's a known...
She's like a Chinese actress.
Yeah, I liked her a lot, even though she had a somewhat small part.
So, yeah, watching... I would definitely say watch the pre-make, and it doesn't spoil anything about the movie. It's just an interesting look at how the movie was made and some people's theories on why certain things were done. It doesn't suffer as bad as the other movies do, as far as, like, the last half isn't just robots banging against each other and, like, deafening your ears.
Yeah, they really saved the biggest chunk of that for, like, the last 40 minutes, probably. Yeah. It was a little more interspersed.
Well, and I found the sound design to be really subdued compared to the other movies. Like, the other movies, you would hear them crashing into each other and crashing into buildings. It was a lot of clang, 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 clang all the time. This one, like, they let the score do all the work.
Yeah.
And so there'd be buildings crumbling and you couldn't hear them.
Yeah.
You just heard the score, or you heard people talking, or you heard...
Although I did have a hard time understanding Lockdown a few times. He was hard to understand a few times.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to get, after, like, the Avengers and Man of Steel and a few other movies, I'm beginning to get city destruction fatigue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like after 20 minutes of that, it's like, okay, another building being destroyed, another building being destroyed. Like, that's a thing
like
right
Michael
now.
Bay.
That's
totally Michael Bay, right?
Well, no, Michael Bay's that plus fireworks. So you gotta have the fireworks for it to be Michael Bay.
Yeah, and those are all practical effects. The firework things.
Yeah, I figure he just can't get rid of it. He just can't say no to that shot.
There was one that seriously took me out. Like, normally, like, explosion stuff, whatever, it's fun to see on screen.
Yeah.
But there's the scene where Optimus Prime is fighting Grimlock in that little glade, and it's after he turned into Grimlock, and, like, Optimus Prime kind of punched him to the side. There's a giant jet of water that's nowhere near
completely unmotivated by anything, just cause.
Like, it just seriously took me out of the movie for, like, a minute. I was like, what was it? Because it showed it from, like, two different angles.
Lots of stuff like that took me out of it, unfortunately. Just,
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, like, it wasn't... I didn't feel like my intelligence was insulted. I didn't feel like they were throwing in a bunch of pop culture references.
There was enough, but it was good stuff though.
Yeah, like the Mark Wahlberg and his family and the boyfriend, like that group works so much better than the Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Characters.
That guy was annoying.
And I'm sure that if they did 2 more movies with them, that it could get annoying. You'd be tired of like, okay, why is it now always Mark Wahlberg that's the center of the universe in these movies, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was weird with Shia LaBeouf's character. It's like,
3 different ones. Yeah.
What's so special about him? And by the third one, they actually made it to where he was like the MacGuffin. Like, he was the guy that could activate the magic thing that fixed Optimus Prime, and only he could do that.
Let me ask you guys this. With the Mark Wahlberg's character, well, the father and the daughter character, like their relationship, did you find it odd? For instance, when they first came to their house and, you know, they were in, Chelsea Grammer's character was like, use the girl, you know, and so they were threatening to kill the girl.
Yeah. And
he was, I mean, it was like one, you know, like up to like that second, and he wasn't like, okay, you know, just like even creating a lie, because he was telling the truth, like he didn't know.
Yeah.
And I just felt that was really odd. I mean, this has nothing to do with the action of it, but just, I felt that was odd. And then again, when they're on that highway and the new Transformers, the created new Transformers come, and, you know, I just felt like she was kind of just on her own a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't feel like he was like protective of her.
That's another cliche. It's just the damsel in distress thing. You know, you got to set up a situation where. But
I think, and I can get that, but I can't get it if it's a damsel in distress and it's your dad. I mean, to me, I know it's not based on, you know, like the main focus isn't their relationship, but to me, that was just, I just thought that was like so odd.
Well, and that, I mean, what you just said though is really important. Like the relationship between the human characters wasn't the focus. There was one, there's a father and daughter, and there's a boyfriend and girlfriend, and they sort of
thankfully that was more of a side thing.
But that's a very much of a side plot. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I completely understand what you mean. What I thought was good, actually, and again, this goes back to like how 2 was a reaction to people's feedback on 1, and 3 was a reaction to people's feedback on 2.
Yep.
This one, they actually made fun of themselves with, they immediately made fun of the daughter character for wearing short shorts.
Yeah.
Which was a little weird though, because like he was talking about, oh, she's only 17, you know, and then we're getting these constant upskirt shots of her legs.
No. We really only got just the one.
Oh no, there was plenty.
All right.
There was quite a few.
I guess I wasn't paying that much attention.
Yeah, it was at least 5 or 6.
That first one, like the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, here we go. And they actually called it out, and they're like, man, your shorts get shorter every day. What is going on with that? Yeah. And then when they walk through the theater and they're like, that's a digital one. I think it's IMAX maybe.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's not.
And they're like, all that gets played these days is sequels. And
yeah. I liked that. I mean, it had sort of that 21 Jump Street, like, self-awareness thing to it. But yeah, I mean, the human characters, they should be in the background in a Transformers movie. They're not... What the human characters are supposed to do, like what they did in the cartoon, was they gave you an audience, they gave you a surrogate to put yourself in there. Right? Like so you're supposed to feel like, oh, it's really cool to have Bumblebee for my car. Like that would be really awesome for me to own Bumblebee, you know? And that's what the first Transformers movie is really like, where, you know, he just gets Bumblebee and he doesn't even know it, and then his car is a Transformer.
Right.
And, so yeah, I think the closer that they stay with that sort of a model, instead of the humans are the center of everything and we got to go rescue Optimus Prime from whatever killed him off in the last movie, and, you know, he has to die and, like, he has to resurrect like Jesus
in every movie. Yeah.
Which
did he die in the third one?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He totally did, and they brought him back with the artifact.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that plot just over and over again is the same thing, and I might be screwing that up. I might be thinking of the second one. They really like.
He's off to. He had watched Prometheus, so he's off to find his creators.
Well, I mean,
now.
he was dead at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
He's kind of down and
And
out.
Mark
That's why I
Wahlberg
asked about
brings
the
him
third
back.
one. What had happened if?
Yeah, I assumed that whatever happened to him before this movie was off screen because he
Yes.
mentioned the ambush.
Oh, yeah.
That was off. Yeah, that wasn't directly from the third movie.
Yeah, they were alive and well, and everything was fine at the end of the third movie. They defeated Megatron, which that part was set up for this, with bringing Galvatron into it. But it's also something where I think people. I mean, the original movie, the animated Transformers movie from 1984, is a masterpiece. It's a wonderful movie. And in that, killing Optimus Prime was a really, really risky and brave thing for them to try and do.
And he never came back, right?
He never came back.
Yeah.
And the real motive behind it is a little bit more underhanded, which is they
wanted to sell
more
a new
toys.
toy. Yeah.
So they basically replaced all of the Transformers in the movie. So by the end of the movie, you have a whole
Had a
different
whole new
set.
set. Yeah, totally.
You know, they replaced Megatron and they replaced Optimus Prime. And so I think every movie since then has tried to capitalize on that same thing, but it also, this movie still has the problem of you never feel like any of the characters are in danger, ever.
No, especially the humans.
There's no repercussions to any action
Apart from the
unless
side guy,
you're the one guy that gets turned into a
The
human
Star Trek
marshmallow,
red shirt guy.
The comic relief.
which was an incredibly harrowing thing to put into a PG-13 movie for kids.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal in a way.
But
Really
it was
gruesome.
okay though because it had just come off of a cool fireworks scene where they were running in slow mo and for some reason his weapons were like fireworks going off and
That lingered like 2 or 3 shots too long for me. I just like
And when they came back to the shot of him
just completely charred and burned out. Like I can't take kids to see this movie for stuff like that. They also said the word bitch like a ridiculous amount of times. Like there were a couple of scenes where it was just like every other word.
I noticed
like,
that one guy.
Are you going to be a bitch or are you going to help me out? Like, okay, kids movie.
There's not a Tronotron. Is there like one to roll them all? There's like Tronotron or.
Well, RC mentioned the transforming effects. What did you think about the man-made transformer?
That was kind of weird.
I thought that was
know.
weird,
Crap.
and I was like,
I thought unimaginative and crap.
and I thought it was interesting that they could just be killed the way that they were being killed.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
and I'm like,
well,
that's
and not only
doesn't
that, but
make any
like, why are they
sense.
climbing buildings? If they can untransform
Transform
and
and
hover
do
through air,
all that stuff.
why are you climbing and
Yeah,
walking?
it was kind of
Yeah,
it
that
didn't
was
make.
it was an odd. I know they
Yeah.
wanted to like make them distinctly better or whatever, but then it was
they
like,
sh-
why aren't you capitalizing
Wasn't
on
on
your
how you
amazing-
made it right, and this amazing.
So it's basically they just go into like the squiddy thing from the Matrix.
Yeah,
To the for me it was completely unimaginative.
Yeah.
Well, they're the T1000s. They're just like
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
it's
they-
like the
blocks
liquid
instead of-
metal
exactly.
version of
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I didn't care for that. I mean, we didn't have the class. I like the classic sound.
Yeah.
I like the way that they transform in the cartoons, where it's a like 2-second process instead of chick 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 chick. Like there's one time where Optimus Prime transforms that takes like 20 seconds.
See, I totally like that stuff. I'm totally into it.
Yeah, it's just like you're watching it, and by the second permutation, you don't know what part's coming from where and how that like
it's all
works
just a blob.
together.
Totally love it.
But that's why I like the G1 Transformers, because you can still see like there's the grill, there's the headlights, there's the
Sure.
like all the parts of the car are still there and they're still used,
Oh right.
instead of it just being, completely different looking.
Did they ever like half transform and then think, nah, I'm gonna go back and they just stuck mid transformation?
I don't remember. I think
How that stuff works?
there might have been like a couple where like they get knocked out like mid transformation or something like that.
It's gonna look weird.
Where they're like half car or like have a head on top or something. You could do that with the toys. Like the Optimus Prime toy, you could like make his head on top of the...
Yeah.
Because his head was the top of the car.
Yeah, and it just flipped
cab.
out. Yeah.
You just flip his head up and there'd just be like this head on top of the truck rolling around.
Yep.
That's cool.
So, anyway.
I mean, I recommend it.
It wasn't terrible.
It's fun. It's a fun movie.
It's long
you
as
like
hell.
It was the
It's
first
really
hour.
long.
I thought the first hour, like it was. I've seen bits of the other movies, and I was like, eh. But it was kind of trending a different, more mature direction for me anyway.
Yeah.
The first hour or so, and then the more the movie went on, it just went into just dumb, big action movie territory, and I kind of lost my attention really.
Yeah.
But if the first hour was really intriguing because it was like a different feel, and I liked the kind of the tone of it.
Yeah.
And then the two CIA guys at the end kind of lost me. Like, at that point, why did they care so much about killing Mark Wahlberg? Like, they were just so... I'm like...
Yeah.
Is that really that important at this
Yeah.
point? That was just kind of really odd. It was basically just a way for Kelsey Grammer and that other guy to get more screen time. I felt like.
And Stanley
And hit all
Tucci.
the cliche
Well, Stanley
checklists.
Tucci was the other CIA bad guy.
Oh, yeah, I
kind
know
of
what you're
hitman
talking about.
guy.
Yeah. So it was just
Yeah.
odd for them to have
Peter Green,
Yeah, I'm
maybe
sure.
something
I
like
mean,
that.
I've seen him around, but it just felt odd.
Yeah, that was really strange.
Although it did give Optimus Prime that moment to just blast a human purposely.
Well, I thought it.
But they didn't make a big deal about it. Even
That's
early
what
in
I
the
was
movie, he was
surprised.
like, "I made an oath to never."
kill
But
her.
then he just kills it, and he
was
doesn't
like,
there's no like big
mention of
reaction.
it or
Like
anything
I
like
felt like
that.
there should have been like a few
Yeah.
seconds of holy shit.
I can just
Yeah.
kill a
Kind of.
human.
There were a couple of scenes where I felt like Kelsey Grammer was auditioning to be the voice of Optimus Prime.
Yes,
Like he was
I
doing.
wonder if they did that on purpose.
the
'cause they
same
really,
cadence.
Yes,
That's
he really was.
We need to destroy all of them.
For America.
And don't get me started on Optimus Prime talking about his seed all the time.
Protect.
Not a fan of that. All right, well, that's our review. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoy the movie. Check out all our other movie reviews over here and at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.